Well, talking about the State of the Union tonight, kind of switching gears a little bit, you did mention bringing more money back into American infrastructure, but also to businesses. Again, the first Republican-held Congress here during President Barack Obama's presidency. What do you expect from tonight?
Well, I think that, we're going to see more of Barack Obama's policies he's been advocating for a while, and I think in November, America said we want something different. The president said his policies are on the ballot, and we saw a drastic change, not only additions in the House, but a change in the Senate. And I hope he would listen to that. It sounds like he's talking about more taxes and more spending, which I think the American people are starting to realize is not the best for the future of America.
Juan, you mentioned earlier about tax reform, and you had talked about bringing more business back into America. Kind of expand on that for me.
Well, if you look at, we have one of the highest corporate tax rates in the world, and it's very difficult for businesses to want to stay here. We're in a global environment today, and businesses that can move elsewhere do so. It doesn't have to be that way. People want to be here in America. We have a great workforce. We have great resources here in America. Let's incentivize them to come back in yet another way so that they're building here. So I hope that we see some of that, and I hope the president also tonight will address our national security issues that are not only our issue, but around the world.
And kind of going back to the tax issue, something that, we've talked a lot about the national debt growing.
Right.
As far as taxes are concerned, where do you think Republicans are going to stand on that?
Well, I don't think increasing our taxes are going to be the answer to reduce our debt as much as it's going to be reducing our spending and making some changes of how we go forward. We have to start looking at what we want America to look like over the next 15 to 20 years. When I talk to young people and I tell them this debt is being passed on to you, the light bulb goes off. And we're seeing an energetic youth in America that are starting to realize that and want to see something change.
Something else that is likely to come up tonight is the Keystone Pipeline. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, obviously, this is something that most Americans want, feel it's going to be beneficial to America, not only for energy independence, but also for our workforce. It's already been approved by the House. I suspect it'll be approved by the Senate and should land on the president's desk. It does have local implications. Siemens in Norwood makes the pumps that makes the engines that drive the pumps. This is important to a lot of areas of America and for our economy, and hopefully we'll see that go through.
When you touched on cyber security earlier too, do you think the president with Congress will get anywhere on that?
Well, I hope so. Every American business that I talk to, from banks and other areas of industry, are very concerned about this, not only for our national security, but for their business security. And we need to make some gains in that area. And obviously, we've seen this happen lately, where outside sources are hacking into our companies.
And obviously, the State of the Union is something that a lot of people are going to be tuning into tonight. Millions and millions of people. Millions of people do want to see progress over the next couple of years. What do you expect? Well,
I would hope that we'd see that there is some give from the president. We have a government set up to represent the people in every aspect, and a lot of times that means coming together and sitting down at the table. And I hope that we hear some of that tonight, but I don't know that we're going to.
Okay, thank you very much for coming on today. We appreciate it, and we'll